Countdown.
Ready?
Off to 10,
9,
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a piece
We're thinking
I'll be here all day. Still got work going on.
They do a lot of it. They do a lot of
Yeah, when I was there, Berkeley, and they're like,
the place they usually come in, so nobody's playing there. Yeah. And I don't think places.
Yes.
And to him, it's done.
Yeah.
And we just get that. Good.
Yeah.
Very professional.
Yeah.
Exactly what you said. And they provide good jobs, I think.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I was very pleased with them.
I will send you those documents.
It feels like it.
Questions?
I don't know if we're gonna pay.
Yeah. We're not gonna see any bodies or anything here, are we?
I mean, because even for me, like, once construction began, all of mine were faced to the very end, so I thought like we were here just dead time. And then checking in, I still.
Christopher. The SFK wrote up on it. TechCrunch shot last night. They're going to do a story in March.
Are they?
Yeah. Upstairs.
Was this on budget?
On budget, on time. 2 years construction.
Not one single injury.
Not.
Yeah.
I'm glad we were able to put the in.
So are you on VO patrol today? But even grab myself. So just let me
She's
know.
so proud. Well, I would. Why would you know? She has reason. His friend made her own for Halloween.
And you have another friend that makes their own kombucha?
Moving out, so we're gonna rent the other room.
Oh, you're gonna take the bigger one?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm glad there's a bigger one to take. Let's, I saw Wayne and Jackie.
Why aren't you going to say a lot about what I've done? What's wrong with that? Well, let me say this. This is a fun day because a number of accomplishments are made, and I see our president, London Breed, who's here, just sitting down now because she's so busy doing so many other things. But she found the time, and working in partnership with the board is really important when it comes to earthquake safety and emergency response. So let me give you the larger picture of why today is so celebratory important. We have to get ready for the big disasters. We've seen it happen. It's gotten really closer with the fires up north, and you realize how much things that could have been done to prevent that. But we also have the hurricanes in the south. We have man-made as well as natural disasters all over the world, in our country, and we study them. That's why so many participants today are part of our first responder agencies and personnel, because this facility is that important. When we were in recruitment and interviewing Dr. Hunter for this job as chief medical examiner, he asked, because he toured the original place. I'm sure he smiled at the recent news that we're getting as many people out of the Hall of Justice as possible. Well, buried in the basement has been Dr. Hunter's office for quite some time, and he smiled when he sat down with us and said, "You're going to help us build a brand new facility, right? Because you can't do the world-class modern toxicology laboratory work that this office is commanded to do. You can't have parents and families of people who want to know what happened on any incident be disrespected in the basement of the Hall of Justice, or sometimes waiting for weeks, in fact months, to have some dignity for what happened. You can't have sheriffs and other people waiting for the same reason. And you can't have less than professional standards operating in that office. And not only did we recruit one of the best in the country to head up the office, we informed and had that office. And this is why I enjoy working with Mohammed so much and the city administrator. We had his whole office and the chief medical examiner inform us about how to design this place adequately. That's why Edgar and the KMD architects are so important, because when you design the building with and for the professionals, you get a product that's going to be world class when you involve them at the top. When you respond to the first responders' demands that we have a world class facility, then you're going to get that. But the real conversation is this. With Supervisor Cohen's support, with the entire Board of Supervisors, the conversation started back in 2010, where we want that conversation with the public. What should we do better and be prepared better for? And they voted in a very strong, over 70% support for earthquake safety emergency response. And they did it twice, in 2010 and again in 2014, when we asked that all of our police facilities, our stations, our fire stations for our fire department, our emergency response facilities get upgraded to withstand a major shake. Now we have a world-class medical examiner's office that, for all the reasons I said earlier, the public can trust. And we did it, as Mohammed said, on time and on budget. That's why I invest in public works. When I want to get something done, our board and the mayor say, let's get public works to be in charge with our city administrator. We get the job done. We also get the job done when we work with our partners in labor. And I must say to the Carpenters Union, to the Laborers Union, thank you, thank you, thank you for making this such a safely built place, but also for your embracement of programs like City Build and Local Hire. Because there are 44 individuals from San Francisco that helped build this facility with all of the work that Clark led on this project. That's a great milestone for the Bayview community. Because as the saying says around here, if the community don't build it, nobody builds it. And I know that that's a feeling that we accomplish right here in this building, and more of our public projects will always involve graduates of City Build, Local Hire, the community, because that's how we build things, is with our communities, with their own hands. Because it's not just this building, it's the downtown buildings, it's the Chase Arena for the Warriors. When people can say we built that, then 2010 and 2014 conversations with the public about general obligation bonds and all the other financial tools that we have to have our voters vote on, they'll be that much happier. When you finish this project, and I know our city administrator and I know our public finance officers are really happy, when we retire debt, then we create even more room for the next bond programs, and the public will put trust in putting their votes in on that. Not only did we do it in this fashion, as I said, we involved yet another agency that I think is becoming more and more important to the quality of work that we do in these buildings. That was our Art Commission. The Art Commission got the full 2% out of this public project. The full 2%. And I know Susan's really happy. She doesn't like the 1%, she likes the 2%. And she's done really well, because I haven't gone in and seen it yet, but we've honored, and I know Dr. Hunter is really joyful to honor somebody that he's known throughout the country, having been the historic medical examiner expert for the city, Dr. Boyd Stevens. And I know his own coat is somewhere in there, in some remnant, in some classic fashion of artwork. So we honor our historic leaders, as well as our art and art for this, for people that will work here and people that will visit here. It is about infrastructure. It's about first responders. It's about the highest level of professionalism in the medical examiner world. It's about having a world-class forensic toxicology laboratory. That's a lot of scientific words. What it comes down to say is, we need sometimes to know what really happened, and we need to have scientific approach to it so that our trust in our public knows what really happened to a person, for a family, or what happened in a major event. And we need to have it safely done in a building like this medical examiner building. ESSER bonds are going to be important constantly, and when we build on time and when we build within the parameters that the public expects us to do, they're going to give us a lot more support for our public bonds and our public programs. So Public Works, City Administrator, to all of you and the way you did this, thank you very much. Let's get on with not only opening this and having people move out of the Hall of Justice as quickly as possible. If the courts were smart, they would not be at the state level, they'd be at the county level. So they got to get them out as well, because we need everybody to be out of the Hall of Justice, quite frankly. It's not a safe building. Everybody who works there knows that. So let's get on with building the world-class safe buildings for all of our staff. But ultimately, these are public buildings, and we want to respect every role that everybody plays. And when the event hits, we want everybody to be prepared. So don't forget your 72hour.org at the same time. That's what our DM wanted me to say while they're here. Thank you to Supervisor Cohen, to the Bayview community for supporting this. It's not easy to have a medical examiner's office in your neighborhood. Sometimes people have a little issue with some of these public functions in their neighborhood, but this was embraced for the right reasons. We're going to have a lot more people down here who will be active in creating a higher level of safety for everyone, and I want to thank our police department. We've got a couple of our officers at SF General right now. I pray for them for a quick recovery. They're doing the great work that we asked them to do. Community policing ain't easy. It ain't easy these days with the opioid epidemic, all the other things that perhaps sometimes the medical examiner is going to be engaged with. But we need to support our public safety agencies because they're doing a darn good job to keep us safe. Thank you, everybody, for supporting this. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mayor Lee. I see Ken Bukowski out there. He was definitely instrumental in making sure that all the monies we needed were there on time and to be able to do the project. Please thank him for his contribution to this. And I know you heard the mayor talk about those 44 individuals from the community that were able to work on the job. Those 44 people actually represent more than 30% of the workforce that actually worked on this job. So, I want to give accepting and giving our residents an opportunity to build something in their own back door. It gives them jobs and they're able to take care of their families.
Thank you, Mohammed. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm really excited to be here today. When I first became a member of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors, I would get emails and phone calls from people who were trying to find out exactly what happened when their loved ones would pass away. They wanted closure. They wanted to know what happened. And because of the facilities that the medical examiner was in, we were almost at risk of losing our accreditation. This is why this building was so important to build. This is why we needed to move quickly. And yes, as the mayor said, we need to move more rapidly in getting people out of the Hall of Justice because we know that no one should be in that building. Here we are, a step closer to removing one of our departments, at least, out of that building and into an incredible state-of-the-art facility. Members of the public, sadly, who sometimes lose their loved ones in the city, will have to make that journey to this particular place in order to find out exactly what happened. And the great news is that they will have a warm, welcoming, beautiful facility, incredible public art. And I think that the staff is going to probably feel a lot better too working under these conditions. So I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about what's to come. I think this is a step in the right direction. I wish it was raining money all over the place so that we can do this for every city department that we know needs to be out of the Hall of Justice. And I bet all the people shaking their heads right now actually work in the Hall of Justice. We're going to get to each and every one of you because, here in San Francisco, we're really fortunate, as the mayor said, to have such generous voters. People who say, when we put something on the ballot, they support it. They know that it's the right thing to do. The infrastructure projects, all of the things that we need to do to not only make sure that our city is working today, we need to make sure that it's working for generations to come. Yes, we're all upset over the congestion. Yes, we don't like Van Ness Avenue right now and a couple of other places, but at the end of the day, it's going to be even better. This is an example of what we can accomplish when we come together to make these projects work for San Franciscans. So thank each and every one of you. Thank you to Department of Public Works, to Clark, to all the folks from this community who had an opportunity to work right in their backyard. This is really amazing for the city today. Thank you all so much.